Right, so we're back again with the X-axis. We're going to get the bar mounted up and the reader head. I'm going to do this slightly different to some though. The reason being is these tubes sticking out here, which are actually threaded and screwed in, these are the outlets for if you're running coolant and flood coolant. I don't run it at the moment because I don't want to make a mess in my garage here at home, but I should soon be moving to a proper workshop, in which case flood coolant ain't going to be as much of an issue, and I don't mind if things get a little bit messier. So I do want to leave these accessible so I can put the tubes on and drain them back to the sump, which is in the foot of the mill. So some people take these out and run the bar dead centre straight across here and have it mounted, but I want to mount the bar below here. So the bar's going to be mounted lower and the reader head will still be central on the saddle there. So here's the brackets, same as before, but on the other one we run them that way up, but on this one, because I want to drop the bar down, we're going to run them this way. So they will go on the bar like so. The bar will mount roughly somewhere like that, and that's how we're going to go. Yeah, roughly about there. So that should do it. It gives me just enough room to clear these and still have the tubes coming off if I want to use them, so then I've not limited myself. So that will go there like they are, and the actual reader head itself, I'm going to use the threaded holes on this side, and that will be used along with one of these thin brackets, so they will sit on there, and then a little socket cap head will sit in them counterbores, so it'll be nice and flush, and then we'll get the whole thing when it's bolted together and mount it along there depending on whereabouts this bar is going to sit. So I might even get the bar mounted up first where I want that, and then do the reader head. I might get one side done just so I can mark it and eye it up, then get this level, and then I can make sure that's dialed in and sitting square with the table. So we'll come back in a minute once I've got that in position. Right, so here's the reader head with a bracket on it. Now I'm using this one, and these are the socket cap heads that sit in the counterbores that go into the actual reader head, so when that sits against there they will be flush and won't get in the way. All these brackets, the problem I find with all these brackets is they're drilled and tapped in various places to suit various different setups, but they're not perfect. Some of the holes on a couple of the other brackets, the threaded section would be useful, but it doesn't actually line up. The centres, between centres, it might be out by 2mm, 3mm, one of them's about 5mm, so there's two of the brackets where the holes actually don't suit these reader heads. So after going back and getting the different brackets for the Bridgeport kit, it seems that they're still not very good, and they're still just the various drilled and tapped brackets, and to be fair, you're probably a case of you're lucky to get what you get and you just got to make do. So these holes in this bracket here, these outer ones which I'll use to come through here, these are actually threaded. Now obviously I don't need them threaded because we're going to be drilling and tapping into the saddle, so I'm going to drill these out to 6mm so that this hole here will give me my clearance and will give me my, that's exaggerated adjustment, but it will give me my adjustment when I'm tramming in the reader head on the saddle to make sure everything's square. So I'm going to take this off, I'm going to drill these out, and then I'm going to get that on there, and I'll bring you back when I'm leveling it up. Right, so we've drilled these out 6.5mm, or 6.8 actually, sorry, drilled these out to 6.8, just chamfered the holes just so that when they're flush up against the saddle there's going to be no burrs sticking through. And then these two were going into the reader, so they'll be facing that way, and then these ones are what's going to be going through, and then we'll drill and tap the saddle to suit. So that will be mounted on there. So I'm now going to mark it up, centre it, and then drill and tap one side, and then we'll get the dial indicator out and we'll get that levelled up. Right, so we're going to mark up and centre punch the back of this. So I don't want the bracket rubbing on the table, so I'm just going to come down a tiny bit and just by eye there's that punch in there. Let's get a shorter one now. Let's use this dumpy one. That's it. And let's drill and tap that for M6. Let's just see, I've got the bolts I'm using here to just see how far in we want to go. And you can see there that it's not too far to go through. I don't want to drill and tap too far into the table. So we've still got the blue tape on there from when we done the holes down here, so I'm going to take that off, get rid of that. And I'm going to put another bit of tape on there to give myself another depth marker. Doesn't need to be much, it's just enough so you can see. So if you work out there, if I go that deep, then that's more than enough to be able to drill it and tap it and get full engagement on the bolts that I'm using. So yeah, let's get it drilled. Now we'll get it tapped. somewhere at the bottom there. Let's back it out. Perfect for small places, these taps, or these tap holders shall I say. Brilliant bit of kit. And let's blow that line out. That's that mounted on there. So we'll get the dial indicator set up and we'll get that bracket leveled up. So we've got the dial indicator on here mounted to the table, and hard to see but we're there on 0, and we'll run it back. Now this is only for the bracket, obviously the reader head's not attached, so we just want to get the bracket as close as we can to start with for when we centre punch the second hole to drill and tap it. So there we are, and it's about 1 thou off. So for the bracket that'll do. So I'm going to get that drilled and tapped now, and then we'll get the reader head bolted on and get the bracket mounted back to the saddle. So we get this hole drilled now. Same as before, we've still got our tape for our depth. Here we are. Now we've run a tap through that. There we go, get it started. Once it's started, it's not too bad. It's just awkward positioning. One, because of you working on the back of the saddle, and two, because I've got a camera in between my arms. Never easy. But we'll get there in the end. So I'll keep knocking that with my arm. There we go, that's bottomed out. Let's take that out of there. And she's out there. So clear that hole once more. Let's get the airline in there without knocking the camera over. There we go, like so. Let's get that A quick wipe. Now we put this back on the reader head. Which is here. Let's get this mounted quickly. So we're having this one on there like so, so we can take this tape off. Now we use that as just a centre mark. Put these back in here. And nip them up. Now, because these holes have got a little bit of play where they're counterboard as well, to give ourselves the best chance and the easiest way to try and make sure we're level, I'm just going off this face there. $487. $481. That's enough for me on that bracket. I just wanted to make sure that I didn't bolt this bracket to the reader head and have that miles out to the point where I can't get it back easily off the bolts that go direct into the saddle. So they're nipped up and they're countersunk in there. So they're good, and now we can put these ones in. Get that one in there like so. Right, I'll tell you what's happening now, which I need to do, which is a bit of a pain because the bracket is only so wide. The bolt is actually, it will go in, but it's actually in the way on that cable there, so I may well have to rethink that. I'm not even sure if it will go in if I take this out and put the bolt in first. Not sure I'll get to it to do it up, but let's give it a go. I'll tell you what I'll do on here. Tell you what we'll do. There's socket cap heads, but there is also in our box of nuts and bolts it also comes with normal hex head bolts. So we'll do that. We'll get rid of that socket cap head, whack that on there, we'll put that in first. We'll get that back in there. And I'll check this again. $397. $96. Just shows you how much these can move in these counterbores and the hole itself 502, 525, 526, 537, 529. Let's do it up there. And let's get the other hex in there. And that'll work a little bit better. Give us access to the bolt heads at least. Start with your finger in there. And let's just get them up with. Not tight, because now we've got to get the dial indicator back on, and now we'll indicate across these two tops to just check how square that is, and I'll bring you back when we're set up for that. Right, so we've got you back. We've got the camera mounted on the table now just to show you the dial indicator. The readers all bolted up nice and tight. I have messed around with this already to get it where I want it, just to save you watching a video of me going backwards and forwards adjusting it all. So just to show you where we're at now, so we're on 0 there. If I manually wind that off just to drop the needle, and then I'll bring this across. And then manually wind it back on, just so nothing gets knocked out of the way, into the centre. And we're half out there. So if I tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get rid of that half. So if we're back on 0 there, let me just tap that one down. See if that'll do it. That might get us where we want to be. Back on 0. And let's go again. And back up onto there. No, we're still half out. See if that gets us where we want to be. I was going to do the video so you didn't have to watch all this, and then it's still out anyway, so you're watching it regardless. Right, so it's still half. See if that's it. Right. See, these ain't perfect, these surfaces. I'm within half, so half's going to do me. I'm happy with that. Any more than that, I think I'd still play around with it, but half's pretty good. So let's just nip these up. And that one this side, well within the 2 thou that it says anyway, so that's all good. Right, so that's done. So now I'm going to slide the bar through. Slide the bar through on there, and then we'll come along, and I think I'll do this side first. Get the bar where I want it, which is going to be down here, and then I'll work out where I've got centre punch, and then drill and tap to get the first support on this end. Right, so we've got the bar mounted through the reader head. Over here, I've pulled the table out to one side just to make it a bit easier. Now this is where we're going to mount the bar. So we're going to have these facing upwards, that there, and I'm roughly going to put the end of this in line with the end of the table, like that. And then you can't really see, but that gives me enough room to still get a tube onto these drains for the coolant, which is all I wanted to be able to do. So I need to punch a mark on there ready to drill. And if you saw the last video, which if you're watching this one you probably watched the last one, that this transfer punch, I didn't have the right size for that, so it's too big, but I did find this bit of tube works perfect as a bushing, which then is a perfect snug fit for that in there. So now I can line this up, roughly get that where I want it, and then look at marking this hole there, which I think is going to be roughly there. So let's get the hammer and just tap that quickly. Should be enough to just leave the mark I need. There you go, get that one out of the way, and then let's use this one. And there's a nice mark in there. I'll drill that now. Got the drill for the 8mm tap, blue tape on it as always, just to check my depth and make sure I've got what I want, no more no less. And then let's get this drill. Tell you what I'm going to do first, I'm going to put a bin under there, because I'm forever hoovering up all the swarf from when I'm drilling. I use the cardboard box on the other one, but I've got the room here to put this bin underneath, and that just saves me a job off camera tidying up, because I can't stand a mess. So there we go. Nearly there. and that'll do nicely. Bit blunt, that drill bit. $8mm tap in the ratchet tap holder. There we go. Let's get this levelled up. Try and keep it nice and straight as we're doing it, and level. There we go. Bit more oil in there. I'm going to move the camera back a bit because I'm going to knock you over in a sec if I don't. It's better. That's it, bottomed out. Let's go once more just to check. Yep, that's the bottom of that. Let's airline that out. And airline off the end of the tap. Just get all the chips and stuff out of there, ready for the next one. For that. Now, oh, knock that over. We'll take this piece onto here. So we're going to have it that way up. So we'll slide that onto there, and I'm going to use the extensions on this. So one screwed in to the other, like so. Because one's not quite enough, it doesn't leave any stick out at the back. It's a bit of a, and it needed to be ever so slightly longer, and it would have done the job perfect, but it didn't quite do it. So there we have that loose on there. And that is where we want that. So the only one I'm going to tighten up at the moment, just so I get the bar in the right place, is this bottom one, just to stop that moving as we go. So let's just nip that one up. Hasn't got to be much, just enough to grab onto that, and then we'll leave that one loose. And there's not so much space on the other side because I'm a bit more up against the wall there, but now that one's on, I'll get us set up around the other side and we'll do exactly the same on the opposite. Right, we've got you back on the other side now. A little bit more awkward because where you're positioned, I've actually got to lean and work over the table because right here next to me is the wall. So I haven't got a lot of room. When I put it here for the time being, I didn't really think about getting behind it to do this job. So same again, we'll use that as a bushing in there, and then we'll have the transfer punch. We've got to come over a little bit more because this isn't central to the slot like that one, so it's a little bit tighter that way, but it should still be alright for what I want to do. And I'm going to mount it roughly there, I think. Let's do that again because I moved it. Roughly there. So that should give us a nice punch. Let's use the other one just to get it a little bit better. There we go. Now the more awkward bit is I've got to somehow manage to lean over and drill this hole. Ain't gonna be so easy, but we get it done. We get it done. I haven't resharpened the drill, so it's going to be a little bit awkward. And my arm is probably smack bang in the way. I don't know if I can keep that out of the way for you. Drill really is done, I think. Can't get this hole out of it, that'll be the last. It'll either be, well, I haven't got a grinder so I can't re-grind it, but I'll grab another one. God, from this angle could have made it any harder for myself if I tried. Getting there, but that ain't enough yet. Lean on this somehow. There we go. That bit is done. Sound a bit of abuse, to be fair. Trying to tap in it. Looks level to me. Sorry about the arm being in the way. Get this in there, back it off a little bit. Last thing you'd want to do is break a tap in the bloody table. Should be far off now. That might be it. Go once more. No, not yet. go, I think that's it. Take the handle out, wind that out. Just blow the tap out. I'm worse than using a tap, and it's got everything left in it, all the crap left in it from the last time you used it. None of that. Right, so there's our bracket. That's up that way. That's going there. And then we'll run this there, I think. This washer's got to go on the other side. Flats on there. There you go. That is that one done. I'm happy with where that's lined up on there and how that is. So what we'll do is we'll run the table backwards and forwards now and just make sure everything's lined up where we want it. That's as far as I can go on this table. So we'll nip up go the other way. Don't know if you're going to go out the picture there, maybe just a bit. Let's turn you a little bit. That's better. Keep you in the frame. This side of the table can actually run in quite far, to be fair. You still on there? Yeah. I don't personally run it this far. See that? Let's move you around here. It does run in quite far on this table. So I don't need that there. It was just more a case of checking that everything's cleared and make sure this bar's run up to exactly where it wants to be before I tighten these little 8mm hex heads, and then I'll run it the other way and do the same on the other end. First, and then one just hiding back here. And then the one on the bottom here, just to grip the reader bar. One last check I've done that up. So that's good. So that's that side done. Let's run the table back. And while that's running back, I'll bring you around to this side. this one. Let's stop that there for a sec. Just get the camera steadied back out. And then we'll do the same here. This one goes a little bit further than that. That's as far as I can go on this side, because the way these power feeds are, they've got a bigger unit which sits in under there, so you can't run the table all the way in like you could if you just had a manual feed on it. So I check that's roughly where it wants to be, relatively loose. All of them are loose. Just loosen that off so that can sort of central itself. And just nip them up first. Nip that one a bit more. And then lastly we nip that one up. Right, so that's them two. Let's just bring you out the camera mount here, just so I can show you with a bit more ease. Right, so that one's mounted. So you can see there we've just got just enough room to give ourselves the tube clearance to put the bit of tube onto there and get ourselves a Jubilee clip in here. Just enough to sort of get around there, or some sort of hose clip clamp we can do there. Obviously we'll worry about these afterwards, how and where we're going to put them, so they've got enough room. Let's put the table back. Oh. Like it, and then the same there. This one had to just sit out a little bit further because this is in a different position, but again you can see that there's enough room there to get the pipework on and get a Jubilee clip in it. And then there she's mounted. There's the reader head with the bracket and the spacers, and then there's the other one. So all that's got to be done on that is the guard. Now in an ideal world, none of these little bits would be in the way and the guard would sit straight over the top. But currently, if you rest it on there, you've got that sort of step, and I don't really want that. I want to bring it level. So what I'll do is I'll rest the guard on there roughly. It's not going to stay where it wants to stay, but I'll rest it there like that, and then I'll mark out either side of this mounting stud and this coolant tube, and I will notch them out so that this can sit over the top and then sit flush like that. So I'll get them marked, get them notched, and I'll bring you back. Right, so we've got the guard in place. Now that's just rested there. I've equalled out the overhang on both sides, and then as you can see there, I've just marked that ready to notch out so it will clear around the coolant tube and the bracket that's holding the actual scale bar on. So I've done that on both sides, there and there, got reflection there so you can see that. So I'm going to cut them out. I'll just cut them out with the grinder because I think that's going to be easiest, and then I'll get that back, and then we'll look at sitting it upright and actually putting some bolts underneath once he's sat down level with the table there. Right, so we've got the guard here. We cut out these notches on the back side, just used a grinder, a slitting disc and an air file because I haven't got a bandsaw like a table saw that I can do that on. So just a slitting disc and the air file, and then that allows them to go over the top there. Gives me a little bit of wiggle room. So I'm going to get them lined up so we're just below table level, and then I'm probably going to put a bolt here just to the side, because it hasn't got to be right on the end, and obviously that's overhanging so there's no room. So I'll just go next to that coolant outlet, roughly in the middle of the guard, and then I'll drill and tap the guard, mark the table to put an M6 in, and I'll probably drill the guard maybe 7mm, 8mm, just so we've got a little bit of tolerance to move it up and down, so I can get it level before I tighten up the bolts. So I'll start on that now. Right, so just get a pen, let's roughly set the overhang that I had before about there, eye it up roughly, and I'm going to go in the middle about there on the guard. Put the pen down there, so that works out roughly 130 from the end. So I'm going to lift the guard off there, and what I'll do is I will just mark this side as well, and then I'll go halfway in. That's about 37mm, so that's at 20. That one, let's just go up a little bit on there. That's there. Right, let's punch that one. Got a centre punch on it, and then I can drill that out. I'm drilling here into this cutout channel for the coolant, so I'm not going to go through into the table, in case you was wondering. I definitely don't want to be doing that. So there's one. The other one. And there's the other one. And I'm just gonna drop the oil can, that's what I'm gonna do. Put that there. Countersink on there, just to take any burrs off. Go. And then let's see what punch I got for that size. I might even already have it out, to be fair. Yep, searching for it, and I've already got it out on the table. Right, so let's go back here. And again, I'm just going to measure the overhang because I wanted it central, and that's there. Tell you what I'm going to do, because I can see that so easily anyway. I'm just going to pen that, because that just makes life a lot easier for me than trying to hold the camera, hold everything else, and also the centre punch it. So let's whack that there. That's what we do here. Move the camera back a bit. Makes it easier for me. There we go. Then I'm going to put you over this side. Just while I drill and tap this hole. Get me M6 tap. M6 tap and my 5mm drill bit. There, about the same depth we're going to go in. Let's see where you're at there. Not too bad. Go there. Get the airline. Well, typically, got that caught up now. But we can get there, just about. Top this back up because I ain't got much in here, if anything. Just enough. Just enough. And just enough is all we need. Go. Check my level. Looking good. To be fair, I went deeper than I needed to with these, but it's not going to hurt. It's not going to go through anything. I think we're there. Let's double check. Yep, we're there on that one. Time for the airline again. Just clean the tap first. Get herself screw in a washer. Right, here we are. That one too long. It's bottomed out in the hole and it ain't tightened it up. Let's take that one away. I did wonder if that was the case. Too long. Go. These ones should be good. He says, famous last words, it should be good. If not, I'll have to go get some that didn't come in the pack. So I've got loads of. Oh no, it's still just out. Right, that's it. Time for a new one then. Let's go. So these are These are 16 mils. Let's go find some 10s. Now we're definitely going to fit because we got them, can't you see there, M6x10 button heads, much smaller, they will definitely fit. There we go. That is better. So let's eye this up roughly. So what we're doing here, it's not a final fit, but we've got to nip that up and have to go over here and mark out the other side. So I'm going to go over there now and centre punch that. Now I'll be able to do that one straight off. Go. Let's get rid of these, now we don't need them. Less mess in the way, the better. Don't need that, don't need them. All out of the way. take this one back off. Guard right out of the way. Sit there. Get our tap. And their airline. And let's drill this one. Go. Tap this one. Get rid of that. And clear the hole out one more time. To go on. Get it central. And there we go. That is the X done. Let's just take the camera off the stand here. And there we have it. Reader head mounted. Guard on. Obviously the bar in place. Perfect. Nice and flush with the table. That's what you want there. Okay, you're going to lose yourself a bit of travel mounting them on the back, but to be fair I wouldn't want it on the front because it's more likely to get damaged. So you have lost, well, going by that gauge you could say you've lost 60mm travel because you're going to come up against the column there. If you wanted to, you're never going to reach these parts on there because they're always going to, table's going to stop here, so they wouldn't get that far. And if you wanted to, you could take 20mm off of this all the way along. If I ever needed to, that's an option. I could get a different bit of angle, or I could neatly cut that down, take 20mm, so that I'm only going to be losing 40mm of travel. But for the majority of jobs and for anything I do, this is the only mill I've got. So if I do anything big, if I need anything done bigger, then I'll potentially outsource it to someone else anyway, unless I'm lucky enough to get a bigger mill in the future if I need it. But there's that done. So we've got the Y on now, all mounted under there, and there's the shield for that one, and then we've got the X all done. So that's the end of this video, and I'll bring you back and we'll get started on the knee, on the Z. See you soon.